a rather unhappy story has emerged that provides an insight into Scotland's poverty-related attainment gap. North Lanarkshire Council are failing to reinstate 130 teachers in August. Their contracts will not be renewed, much to the consternation not only of the individual teachers who are affected and their livelihoods, also of the EIS, the Educational Institute of Scotland, Scotland's largest teacher union. So, North Lanarkshire were asked to explain this, and they responded. A spokesperson said this: well, the Scottish Government have withdrawn £1.8 million of funding for teacher recruitment due to a reduction in pupil numbers. Clear and straightforward answer. I checked that, and indeed the numbers of pupils in North Lanarkshire is falling. Between 2021 and 2022, the figure went down by 134. There is no data for 2023 that I can see. Well, that's a straightforward thing. We lose 134 pupils, which is 0.5% of the total, and the funding goes down by £0.9 million. Well, it went down by £1.8 million, so presumably that's the figure for last year as well, or something similar to it. Perfectly clear. So the Scottish Government were asked to respond, and respond they did, but they didn't respond directly to what the North Lanarkshire spokesperson said by confirming or otherwise. They refer to a completely different fund that's got nothing to do with this problem we're talking about. It has got nothing to do with it. They refer to the Pupil Equity Fund, of which £145 million will be made available to all the local authorities in Scotland to share among themselves for a particular problem. So what the Scottish Government has done here, they have deliberately muddied the water. They have deliberately confused the people of Scotland because they're responding to something in a way that's inappropriate. And because we're not experts in these things, we don't know any better. And this is a huge problem for democracy. So the EIS is invited to respond. Angela Bradley, the General Secretary, says this: this is due to, and I quote, serious underfunding of the Scottish educational system. That's interesting, because a government spokesman has said in the exact same article that £145.5 million is being released to Scottish local authorities this year. So how can there be underfunding? That we have to ask that question. A conclusion emerges that the Scottish Government has underfunded Scottish education and kept some money back. And not only can we use the money saved to throw at the problems that saving that money has created in the first place, we can make political capital at the same time. Aren't we clever? We are now in a dire situation in Scotland that should never have happened in a democracy. But because you never get a clear answer, the people of Scotland don't really know what's going on. And sadly, they wouldn't imagine their elected officials and people who they pay large salaries to in local councils would actually impose such obnoxious circumstances upon us. We wouldn't believe that. But without clear information, I don't see how there's another conclusion. You could say, well, we will never get what we pay for. And that is a fundamental truism. You do only ever get what you pay for, provided the money has been spent wisely according to democratic processes, transparent democratic processes. Then we'll get what we pay for. Maybe a wee bit more if we're lucky. However, it might not be quite as simple as that. Robert Coble in this week's Sunday Times says this. He's writing an article on English education, but he uses an example from Scottish education to make a valuable point. Mr. Coble says this: money isn't everything, he says. And how does it illustrate that? Well, just look at the dire performance of the better funded Scottish education system to see that money isn't everything. he's assuming that we're spending our money wisely. Underfunding Scottish education to throw money at the problems that that creates is not spending money wisely. And the result is, although our politicians are looking good, the result is we're getting an awful lot less than what we're paying for. And that has dire consequences for the future of Scotland. Let me end on a point made by Andrea Bradley. She makes an appeal to local authorities and the Scottish Government, and I quote, "Stop playing politics with people's lives." And she doesn't just mean the teachers who have, she doesn't just mean the North Lanarkshire teachers who've been released. She's talking about the lives of every single person in Scotland. Because what happens in Scotland in the future very much depends on what happens in Scotland's schools today. Thanks for watching the Scottish Physicist.